First of all, let me thank our college union, who are the core team behind this National Students Enclave, Shraddha, for giving me a platform for presenting a few words on today's subject, how to approach a Samhita. The name Shraddha given to this conclave is very scientific and it is very appropriate also. The tagline which was given is Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. That is also very appropriate. An ardent seeker of Ayurveda should have that utmost Shraddha. They should have utmost Shraddha to study the Ayurvedic principles and Samhitas. Now I am entering into my subject, how to approach a Samhita. I am starting with the methodology which was accepted or followed by Vedic Acharyas, and our methodology is the continuation of that methodology. That is why I am first of all explaining the methodology which were followed by Vaidika Acharyas. History of every Bharatiya Shastra can be traced right from the Vedas. Vaidika Vangmaya consists of 4 Vedas, as you know. These Vedas are not deliberately composed. Being Apaurusheya, these Vedas are not deliberately composed, but they are spontaneously listened by the rishis. Still, the compilation of Vaidika Vangmaya have very systematic configuration. Vedangas, as you know, Vedangas are 6 in number: Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirutta, Jyotisha and Chandas. These Vedangas are also came into existence for the systematic interpretation and as well as the preservation of these Vedic texts. These are all methodology of Vaidika Acharyas have followed. By studying systematically these Vedangas, they conduct the studies on Vedas. A strict methodology was adopted to teach and learn these Vedic Samhitas. Next. Yeah. These are the 3 methods Vedic Acharyas have followed. First method is Shravanam. Shravanam, you know, Shravanam is the simple hearing of well-composed shlokas or verses. And next is Mananam. Mananam means contemplation of the importance of these verses, employing our own logic or one's own logic or reasoning. That is the second method of study by Vaidika Acharyas. It is called Mananam. Then third one is Nididhyasam. Nididhyasam means is the unremitting meditation on the ultimate truth. Their aim was in Vaidika Kala, or according to Vedas, the study of Vedas aimed to the Atma Sakshatkara. So the third method or the third level of study is Nididhyasam, that aims to reach the ultimate truth. These are the 3 methods followed by Vaidika Acharyas to study or teach or learn Vedas. Then coming to our Shastra, Ayurveda Shastra, what all methods our Acharyas have followed, we can see. Next. Likewise, there are 3 levels of understanding propagated by Ayurveda rishis also. Within that, these methods are the continuation of the Vaidika methods. Truly speaking, they are the three goals one should attain by understanding the Samhitas. These are not merely the study methods, but they are the three goals one should attain by studying the Samhitas. That is our goal. What are the goals that I will say? Since Ayurveda is more pragmatic in nature, our ancient seers have adopted more scientific and systematic approach in this aspect. As per their view, learning process of a Samhita starts from Patha and Avabodha and end with Anusthana. Here, Patha and Avabodha is the level of understanding the theoretical aspect, and the next method, Anusthana, is the application of those attained theories. That is the application level. We can classify these three levels into three aspects. That is, Patha is the literary level of understanding of a Samhita. Second is the Avabodha. Avabodha is the conceptual level of understanding of the Samhita. Then third is the Anusthana. Anusthana is the clinical level of understanding of Ayurveda or Samhita. So these are the three levels of understanding. You should be very careful that these are the three levels of understanding or the three goals you should attain by studying a Samhita. Now the goals are set. Then we have to seek the way how to approach these goals. How we can make Patha and how we can make Avabodha out of Patha, and how we can reach to the Anusthana level or a clinical level. That is our ultimate aim. As Vedic Acharyas have proposed that the Nididhyasa is their ultimate aim, our ultimate aim or a physician's ultimate aim is to be a good practitioner or a good clinician. So our ultimate aim is to promote Anusthana or propagate Anusthana of Ayurveda. That is the practical utility of Ayurveda. Then the next, how we can achieve these three levels of understanding? For that, Charaka Samhita give a very clear method, very systematic method to study a Samhita. Being a good academician, Atreya has proposed, I think Atreya or may redactors have given these methods or some commentators have added these methods. Anyway, this is the very systematic method of studying a Samhita. That is given by Charaka, it is given in Charaka Samhita, Sutrasthana, 30th chapter. Last part of 30th chapter of Sutrasthana. What are the methods? Here we can classify these three levels as first degree of study, then second degree of study of a Samhita, then third degree of study of a Samhita. First degree is Vakyashaha. Second degree is Vakya Arthashaha. Then third is Artha Avayavashaha. Let me see what is Vakyashaha method of learning. See, Tantram Arsham Karsnena. According to Charaka Samhita, Vakyashaha method of learning is given as such. Tantram Arsham Karsnena Yadhamnayam Uchyamanam Vakyashaha Bhavatyuktam. What is the meaning of Vakyashaha? Vakyashaha means Vakya by Vakya. That is sentence by sentence. That is merely reading the text by sentence. That is the Vakyashaha mode of study. That is the first degree of study you should approach, or you should do the first method of study as Vakyashaha. Not go beyond that. Don't go beyond that Vakyashaha. First, you read the text carefully by sentence. What all need for that? This is the process of reading the textual composition sentence by sentence. For this, a workable knowledge of Sanskrit grammar is necessary. Primary knowledge is only needed. Primary knowledge of Sanskrit grammar is necessary. Knowledge of at least Karyaga, Vibhakti, Samasa are all needed. In the preliminary level, that is the thing. Without these, even a step cannot be made into the Samhita Loka. You cannot make any step into the Samhita without the knowledge of Sanskrit. So first of all, study the Sanskrit well. That is the main message from this. The students should be well instructed on reading the textual passages correctly and ensure that the learning process, including pronunciation, intonation and understanding, are flawless. That is the method of Vakyashaha mode of study of a Samhita. Now we are following some of these methods. Knowingly or unknowingly we are following these methods. We are simply chanting or reciting the shlokas of Ayurveda as in Swadhyaya classes. Like hearing the film songs by using these headphones and all that. You hear these Ayurveda shlokas through this by using these headphones and all. Then we can make sure the making of a text. We can be very sure about the language, the pronunciation, intonation of the text. The repeated hearing will give you such effect. Then second degree of study. What is the second degree of study? The next means going deeper into the text. First one was a superficial study, that is only reading sentence by sentence. What the meaning may be, what the context may be, nothing matter. But the second degree of study is Vakya Arthashaha. Charaga gives explanation for this Vakya Arthashaha method of study. What is that? Buddhya Samyak Anupravishya Arthatattvam. Vyasa Samasa Pratijna Hetu Udaharana Upanaya Nigamana Yuktabhihi Vagbhihi. Trividha Shishya Buddhi Gamya Abhiruchyamanam Vakya Arthashaha Bhavatyuktam. Vakya Arthashaha method of study is something deeper compared to Vakyashaha method. After reading the verses, first you have read the passage. After reading, the meaning of those verses are interpreted with due regard to the principles of elaboration, briefing, then Pratijna Hetu Udaharana Upanaya Nigamanadibhi. Pratijna Hetu Udaharana Upanaya Nigamanadyaha Panchavayava Vakyaha. The 5-membered syllogism. You have already studied in Anumana Pramana. Apply that Pramana into the context or into that phrase and think logically. Find out the logical part of the text. That is the second method. But that method of study or that method of teaching should be able to be grasped by all the 3 types of disciples. Trividha Shishya Buddhi Hitam. That should be understandable for all the types of disciples who are studying in the class. That is the Vakya Arthashaha method of study. Then third is Artha Avayavashaha. That is the third degree of study. Then again we are going deeper and deeper into the principles of Shastra. What is the method? Artha Avayavashaha. Tandra Niyatanam Artha Durganam Punaha Vibhavanaihi Uttam artha avayavashaihi uktam bhavati. Here a word you can see Artha Durga. These are all passages from Charaka Samhita 30th chapter, Sutrasthana 30th chapter. Here you can see a word Artha Durga. That means, Artha Durga means the context or phrases or words which are very difficult to understand. There are several such contexts in Samhita where meanings are kept hidden, unexplained or partly explained. Strictly speaking, Artha Durga means the Artha which is kept or kept hidden by a Durga. Durga means fort. So, Artha is deliberately or a part of briefing, they are kept hidden by a fort. Like a province is kept protected by a huge fort. The meanings of the context or the words or phrases are kept hidden in Samhitas. We cannot understand that parts very easily. Here we need some tools, some technical tools or literary tools are needed to expose or open up the meaning. Then only we can achieve the correct sense what the author has proposed. So this is like this Artha Durga. The word Artha Durga means the meaning which is kept hidden or unexplained. This is like a province which is kept protected by a strong fort. Then, next slide. To expose the meaning or to decode the meaning of such situations of Samhita. There are several situations in Samhita we can met with such examples. We cannot easily understand the context, the meaning, everything. So, we have to apply some technical tools to understand or to decode that part or that context. What are the techniques or tools are employed to understand the science? What all techniques are used by our acharyas for decoding or for explaining such situations? These are the techniques they have used. You have heard about that. Tantra Yukti. Tantra Yukti is the logic of the text. Then second is Tachilyadaya. Some authors have used different styles for their writing. Find out the style, then only you can reach the exact meaning of the context. That is Tachilyadaya. Second is Arthashraya, supporters of meaning. Then Vyakhya means commentaries and Kalpana are the considerations. These are the techniques, various techniques used by Ayurveda acharyas along the Samhitas. For the study of classical scientific treatises in Ayurveda, a student should be well versed with technology which is employed in such treatises. Different acharyas have followed different methods from this. Some have followed Tantra Yukti. Among the Tantra Yuktis, some have used 32 Tantra Yuktis. Sushruta have used 32. Charaka has used 36. Then Bhattara Harishchandra has proposed 41 types of Tantra Yuktis. So the number may be differ, but they have used these techniques definitely. So a student should be well versed with the technology of writing such treatises. In ancient times, why they have used these techniques? First thing, for the briefing of such samhitas, to make it brief. Second, to hide the meaning of the words from the enemies of the Shastra. They deliberately used some methods to hide or protect the meaning of such words to protect this Shastra from its enemies. So, why these techniques are used, I will read the thing. In ancient times, writing was a difficult task. To write on a palm leaf or birch bark was a tedious job. So brevity or samkshiptata was the hallmark of all the ancient texts. Not only of Ayurveda, all the ancient texts have followed this type of brevity in the type of that literature. This naturally affected, this samkshiptata or brevity naturally affected adversely the meanings or its exposition. Hence, some techniques were implemented by authors, redactors or commentators so that a learned reader can understand the exact meaning without a trace of doubt. Then second, authors have their own style of writing, and the learner should identify the style of author to collect the exact meaning of the context. Moreover, there are many symbolic renderings. Symbolic renderings are supporters of meaning. Some symbolic renderings are used. And here the student should be imaginative enough to understand the correct version. Then among these applications, Tantrayukti is quite popular. The other things are not at all popular. Even an authoritative writing or individual text are not at all available on these topics, Tachilya, Arthashraya, Vyakhya and Kalpana, all that. Fortunately, Tantrayukti has got some popularity and some authoritative writings are available on the subject and some independent books are also available like Tantrayukti Vichara by Nilamekha Bhishak and all that. I want to give a simple application of Tantrayukti, how we can apply. I am not at all entering the Siddhantic elaboration of Tantrayukti part, but I am giving a pinpoint version of Tantrayukti application, how Tantrayukti can be applied to a given context of a Samhita or a given passage. What are the steps? General steps for one should follow in the application of Tantrayukti. What are the steps we should follow? First one, go through the original version of the text. Thoroughly read the literary part of the text. Then second, find out Tantrayukti application already existing in that portion. First read the text, then find out the Tantrayukti application already existing. Then third, confirm that concept of Tantrayukti by reading the Tika portion, by reading the commentary portion. Whether commentators have employed such Tantrayuktis on that context, confirm it with the commentary portion. Then next step, receive newer orientations from Tikas which is unset. By reading the commentaries, by using our own reasoning and logic, find out newer application of Tantrayuktis. That is the method we should employ in the application of Tantrayukti. Then next, confirm its validity. Whether it is right or wrong, we have to find it out. So, confirm its validity either by discussions or by seeking advices from authorities. This is the general methods or the steps how to apply a Tantrayukti or how to find out the Tantrayukti application existed in a given part of Samhita. Moreover, for the clarification, some examples from our day-to-day life I am giving some examples of Tantrayukti from our day-to-day life. We are knowingly or unknowingly applying many of these tantrayuktis in our daily life. All of you know, everyone has their own mission in life. We have all our, some goals are there. Definitely we have a mission in our life. This mission is prayojana. Prayojana is a tantrayukti. In life, this prayojana, our mission of life is prayojana. Ourselves, this body and our mind and intellect are all adhikarana. Adhikarana is a tantrayukti, you know. Then duties and dreams. We have several duties and dreams in life. They are uddesha. Uddesha tantrayukti. Then we make relations in our life. So many relations are there. They are yoga tantrayukti. That is the application of yoga. Then many things we understand from our lives. That is padartha tantrayukti. Then in our life, something we achieve. What we expect. Something we achieve, what we expect. That is pradesha. Then extends the experiences to the other fields. We got experience from one field and we extend that experiences to the other fields also. That is ati desha tantrayukti. Then in many circumstances, we keep mum. We don't know the answer, so we keep mum. That is the Vakya Shesha Tantrayukti, application of Vakya Shesha. Then follow throughout our life, we follow some social and religious rules. These are Upadesha Tantrayukti. Then things about causes of events. This is Apadesha Tantrayukti. Then draw some implications from our experiences. This is Arthapati. Arthapati is the implied aspect. So this is Arthapati. Then something we decide out of many confusions. This decision is Nirnaya, confusion is Samshaya. These are all tantrayuktis. Then some biased, unexceptional considerations we take. That is Ekanta tantrayukti. According to our own interest. That is Ekanta. Then believes in multitudes. That is Anekanta tantrayukti. Reversely receives some implications. Reversely receiving. That is Viparyaya. Opposites. Then refutes some others' opinions. That is Purva Paksha. Accepts some of others' opinions. That is Anumata. Then learns from past experiences. That is Adita Aveksha. We make plans by keeping the future in view. That is Anagata Aveksha. Continuously think. We think continuously and collect many things. That is Uhya, and collection of many things is Samuchaya. Uses similes to convey ideas. That is Nidarshana. Examples. Then spells out our own conceptions. That is Nirvachana. Then obeys some strict rules and regulations. That is called Niyoga. In life we usually some strict rules and regulations should be followed. That is called Niyoga. That is different from Upadesha. Seeks for options in various circumstances. That is Vikalpa. Quarrels and refutes the opponent by logic. That is Pratyutsara. Establish our own concept by refuting others. That is Uddhara. Then speculations about possibilities. That is Sambhava. That will happen like that. That is Sambhava. Enquires curiously. That is Pariprashna. Sometimes does odd things. That is Vyutkranta Abhidhana. This tantrayukti is explained by Bhattara Harishchandra. This Vyutkranta Abhidhana. The other tantrayuktis are all applied and they have got real applications or living application in our daily life. This Tantraikti is not a discarded subject. It has got living, it has got a practical utility still in our lives. That is the thing. Next. Then we come to the other method of learning. That is the learning that should be performed by a physician. After becoming a physician, we can follow this method of learning. Before that, we follow the method of Vakyashaha, Vakya Arthashaha, Artha Avayavashaha,